Okay, today we are watching a program titled The Redwoods. I'll say that again, The Redwoods. The reason I'm watching this is because in about 4 or 5 days, I'm heading to California to actually experience the Redwoods for the first time in my life. So I figure I should know something about them before going, and that's what we're doing today. So we're watching The Redwoods by the Sierra Club. That should be a good one. Publication date 1967. With that, I think we're ready to dive in, right? Shall we? Let's go. A King Screen production. I've never seen this production company. That's interesting. I shouldn't just say that's interesting. That's not actually very interesting at all. But it's weird that I'm still seeing new production companies. Okay, already I'm gonna make a guess. Can I stop us already? I know you guys hate when I do that, but I think we're looking at fog on the ocean, and I think we're going to try to connect the fog that comes off the Pacific Ocean onto California as the source of water that is able to supply the redwoods with the water they need to grow so tall. That's my guess so far. I'm making that guess based on what I've seen, based on like the 2 seconds of actual footage I've seen so far. That's my guess. Kind of a haunting way to start a program like this, though. Like, very haunting, like, soundscape, and, like, the music that's starting to come in is also kind of eerie. Oh yeah, now you can see that better, right? The fog coming in, feeding the trees. Totally. That's totally what we're talking about now. These are good shots, though. This is definitely, like, mystery right here. Like, I am definitely curious. Oh man, I'm so excited to go to California. I know this does not even relate to what we're watching, but it's getting me so excited to go now. I'm going for a video for Atlas Pro, just not for vacation or anything, but like, I'm definitely going into the Redwoods. Oh man, yeah, the shot of the tree barely visible through the fog, like, these are some good shots too. I would be so lucky to get shots of this forest this foggy, you know? Like, this is a special weather phenomenon that they're capturing as well. Like, we have to appreciate they didn't just come here any day and it was foggy. They came here specifically on a foggy day. Or at least I have to imagine that's what they did. I have to imagine they like planned this out so that they would have it on a foggy day. But I don't know, maybe they just got lucky. All right, hang on. We're like a minute and a half in, and we're not even like at narration or anything yet. We're still just watching a montage of trees in the fog, which I appreciate. I definitely think this sets the tone of the program. I definitely appreciate it, but I can also understand why modern audiences might have difficulty watching a program like this nowadays.
They were like that the day my father first saw them.
Okay, wow, we finally get narration. They were like that the day my father first saw them. So I imagine giant is what they're referring to.
Half hidden in the summer fog. He'd ridden up on
So this is how most redwoods are seen, as hidden through the summer fog, I guess.
back up from San Francisco.
Oh, this is a great shot. This is like a classic shot almost. I feel like I've seen this shot before somewhere else. Oh man, I hope I can get shots like this when I'm there. Like, these are what like shots like this is what you go to the redwood forest for, is like such high trees that you get such, you know, angled light coming down from the sun, and the beams are illuminated because it's foggy. Like, yes, this is the perfect shot of the redwood forest, and I hope I'm going around the same time. They said this is summer fog, and I'm going on the first day of July, so I'm really hoping I capture some of this.
Came up the old ridge trail. He said they were standing there in the fog like they'd been standing there forever.
That's an interesting statement. Standing in the fog like they'd been standing there forever, which they pretty much had been. Like, it's funny how you can just tell these trees are so ancient just by the environment and how they exist in the environment. The Redwoods. There you go. That's the title for you. Very like melodramatic introduction, I will say. Like, this is not like the super excited tone I was expecting for a Redwoods program. My YouTube video I'm gonna make is gonna have a lot more energy than this. Like, why does this feel like a horror movie? Like, can we listen to this sound again just for the credits? Like those crying violins, like, I don't know, something's giving me the heebie-jeebies listening to this. Like, I feel like we're gonna find, like, a dead body in this forest or something by doing this. Also, what is with this font? Every letter is capital except for the E and also the R, I guess. Like, what a weird font choice. It's not even a font choice that's weird, it's the actual choices of the font itself that are weird. Like, why is the E lowercase and everything else uppercase? I don't know. That's just, I like commenting on the fonts. You know, this sound does make it seem like very old. I don't know. Like, this is definitely the music you play for something that is like 4,000 years old. So maybe it is fitting. It's just, it's a little off-putting at the same time. Like, this music isn't saying, look how beautiful and grand this forest is. It's really, to me, it's saying, look how like eerie and like unsafe this forest is. You know, like I really expected music that would be saying like, look how amazing this environment is. Whereas this is kind of saying, whoa, look how like, you know, kind of scary this place is. Which, I don't know, I guess I never really thought about it in a context like this, but I'm still infinitely fascinated. I don't think there's anything scary about this environment. Which again, is just so strange why they would pair a program on this environment with music like this. I'm trying to understand the choice there. Like, I guess because it's foggy, it's kind of creepy, but I think that's like even more beautiful, to be honest. Like, I'm perceiving this forest from a sense of pure beauty, but I guess other people see it differently. It also sucks that you can like barely make out any color. Like, I guess the fog is also making things less saturated, but like, nah, you can't tell this is redwood. You can't see these green leaves. Like, there's very little color to be read from this. These are some massive trees. I know that's like the most obvious thing I could have possibly have said, but that's what these shots are trying to illustrate at the same time. These shots are trying to tell us, look how big these things are. Look, like this shot, it's giving us a regular tree for scale, and then it's showing us the trunk of this tree beside it, just to show us like the trunk of this tree is bigger than like most regular trees, you know? Like, oh man, it really is wild how big these trees are. I'm so excited to see them. I've never seen them before. I'm gonna see them so soon. Oh man, this is so cool. I think I'm going to get better photography than this, though. I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I think my camera at the very least is going to capture more detail. It is impressive though. The silhouetted aspect of these trees in these shots is actually like beautiful and definitely helps illustrate the point that the photographer is trying to have come across, right? He is trying to tell us that these are giants that are, you know, almost forces of nature, that they stand against the fog even. The photography is very purposeful, but these are just not the choices I would have made for this program. Oh man, they got so lucky with this fog though. This is like the most insane fog ever.
Long before man. Long even.
Hang on, so is this a helicopter shot? I think so. This is a risky helicopter shot. Like, we're flying in the fog, in the forest where trees are just like random superly tall, you know? Like, you could just run into a tree in the fog here somehow. Like, I can imagine it would be very easy to just collide with one of these trees by accident because you don't see them through the fog in time. Like, this is a very risky shot to get. Maybe I'd try this with my drone nowadays, but I would never try flying in this foggy of conditions in a helicopter just for this shot too. It's like, it's a cool shot, but it's not even like that great of a shot. Like, it's not steady enough to be a really great shot. So I don't know. I don't know if this was worth the risk.
There were the Redwoods.
This is a great shot. When you're over the fog, that is an amazing shot. I don't know if I'm going to get a shot to match this. Yeah, this, oh my gosh, look how tall they are too. It really is an amazing shot. That's all I have to say about it, but I really want us all to appreciate it.
100 million years ago, they flourished throughout the northern half of the world. The last great stand of Sequoia sempervirens survives in a narrow band of forest in the fog belt along the northern California coast.
Wow, I did not think that the redwoods were globally distributed across the north. So they must have had some Laurasian distribution. But I always thought the redwoods were specific to California. But maybe they're only specific to California now. That is interesting. That is something I did not really know.
No other living thing in the world grows as tall. Few trees live to be as old.
Yeah, look how low we're flying in this helicopter to these trees in the fog. Like, I'm getting worried about the helicopter pilot just by watching this.
The Sequoia sempervirens, the enduring redwood, a living link to the age of dinosaurs.
But that is very interesting to say that the redwoods have also like coexisted with dinosaurs. Like, isn't that wild? Like, if they really are 100 million years old, the dinosaurs were put to extinction around 66 million years ago. The redwoods did live alongside dinosaurs. Like, isn't that so bizarre? You know, like humans didn't even exist as an evolutionary concept or an evolutionary like possibility even when redwoods first evolved. Like, it took so much evolution and so many specific natural disasters like meteors hitting the earth to even make humans possible. But redwoods were there the whole time. Like, that is really bizarre. Like, these trees' ancestors knew dinosaurs. That's nuts. Yeah, see, this is the music I was sort of expecting, like that hill country happy music. Yeah, that's hill country happy. Is it just me, or is this helicopter just, again, incredibly low? Like, for the fact that there are just trees that can be, like, super tall, I don't know. I'm getting so sketched out watching this footage. This is cool to see the redwood forest from above, though. That's, like, a perspective I don't actually think I've ever seen before. Like, I've seen the redwoods from below. Like, that's honestly the more spectacular way to see redwoods, I think. But like, it's interesting to see what this forest looks like from above, because it does kind of just read as a regular conifer forest, but there is something very strange about it at the same time. There is no like level to this forest. It's just like huge pillars up and like huge canyons down. So this is an interesting character for a forest, but it's hard to perceive. But because I'm an environmental scientist, I think I understand what I'm looking at here. Is it all redwoods, or is it just like primarily redwoods? Is it a redwood dominant forest with like oak trees and what else, or is it like only redwoods? That's kind of what I'm curious about as well. That's something I think I will only actually learn by going, though. So I guess that's why I'm watching this before I go, I guess. Wow, that was a very hard edit, but I respect it. Oh, that was the sound of a logging truck? Yeah, dang, unfortunately. That is like the most unfortunate thing about learning about the redwoods, is once you come to appreciate their grandeur, then you like learn even more about how we destroyed them so horribly that like there's very few of them left. Like, oh, the old growth redwoods, like it's such a shame we cut even one of those down, let alone like entire forests of them. All right, how long was this shot? Like this unmoving, unnarrated, unmusicked shot, like just pure silence and one still shot that we watched for like, that felt like 10 straight seconds. Like what an interesting edit choice. Like again, if I made that edit in a YouTube video, I would lose like 50% of the audience right there.
When my dad first settled here, there was hardly anyone around. Of course, everything was wild and virgin then.
Oh man, I wish I got to explore the redwood forests when they were still like virgin forests. Like that sounds like the most amazing exploration trip ever. Like that is pretty much entering an alien planet, right? Like Endor, right? Like from Star Wars was filmed here. Like it pretty much is an alien environment. And I have to imagine back before white men came, like it was only like so much more rich and amazing. Oh man, I really do regret not being born before all this stuff was destroyed.
Well, you probably run into a black-tailed deer or a grizzly.
Black-tailed deer? I've never heard of black-tailed deers. I only have white-tailed deer, so that's interesting.
Bear, maybe a mountain cat or two, but no other living soul. It's hard to believe that now. It's hard to find a place where a person could go off by themselves and be all alone and away from the world for a while.
It's honestly sad that they're talking about this like all the way back in whenever this was made in the 60s. Like it's hard for them to get out in nature and be alone from people. Like can only imagine how much more difficult it is now, by comparison. So it's just it's shocking that like the things that people complain about now with having access to nature and magnificent nature like redwoods was already something that people were experiencing all the way back then as well. Like this is just such a unique editing style compared to YouTube nowadays. Like they are taking their time with this for sure. Like we were 8 minutes in, and I feel like 10 words of dialogue have been spoken by the narrator. This is very much like a slow, thoughtful nature documentary, more than like a here's all the information, take what you want out of it. You know, like this is let's take our time, let's enjoy the place we're at, and let's just look at all the different aspects of this environment, which is good because that's what I have to think about too when I'm going is what do I want to film? How do I want to film it? What is actually important stuff to film? And what should I just leave by the wayside? Like this shot of the stream, not gonna lie, like it's not showing redwoods at all, right? Like I would have maybe gotten these shots with redwoods in the background, but you would have to get closer to the ground for that. It's just like watching this sort of stuff before going lets me actually think about and anticipate the shots that I want to get in the future. So that's why I'm watching this, and I am definitely getting stuff out of it. But at the same time, a lot of these shots are just like, what are we watching here? This is not a redwood leaf, right? This is like a maple leaf or something. Redwoods are conifers. They don't even have leaves. But interesting. All right, so this is probably another sort of tree in the redwood forest. Some kind of maple, I would guess. Maybe not, but it looks like a maple to me. These are ferns, obviously. We don't need to include that.
My dad was a logger. In fact, he logged these redwoods until he died. And even though he cut them down, I think he had great respect for those trees.
See, that's weird because, like, obviously, if you're logging them, you don't have the proper form of respect for these trees. If you can't recognize, like, the natural intrinsic value of these trees, I can't say that you would respect them, but I bet he did respect them from a completely other perspective. Like, I bet he respected these as, like, ginormous, like, almost bombs that are going to fall to the ground when you cut them. Like, it's definitely something you have to respect, but it's just unfortunate that they wouldn't respect them from the environmentalists' perspective.
300 foot tall, the old ones average. 16 feet on the stump. And they've been some, around 350 foot tall that he'd put a saw to. Well, that's tall.
Is that like a full day's work right there? Do you, like, maybe even multiple days, right? Like, you can only cut like one of these max per day.
And the city block is long. Even higher than a 30-story building.
Yeah, this shot unfortunately kind of got washed out by the film preservation, but I bet this is an insane shot to see when it was all intact. Like, we are still going up the tree. Like, we are illustrating just how freaking tall these trees are. The fact that we're still going, like we're still not even looking at like the canopy yet, like we're looking at the middle part of the trunk, like that's crazy, and we've been going for so long already. Another thing I'm picking up is it's incredibly difficult to actually show one full tree in its entirety. Like, they're so tall that most of the tree is going to be covered up by the rest of the canopy. So just for my future reference, I have to understand that if I want a shot that shows this same thing, I need to be smarter about it and find a place that isn't so covered up by canopy. How are we still going? How is this camera not pointed like directly straight up by this point? Okay, there we go.
You know, it takes more years than man can imagine to grow that tall. 800 years on the average. And there have been some that were 2,000 years old, alive before Christ was born.
That is crazy that, like, these trees have also existed, like, these actual standing trees have existed for most of human history. Well, not most of human history, but most of modern human history, at least.
Makes you wonder how many forest fires and how many storms and floods that you'd have to go through to survive for 2,000 years.
Yeah, the very ominous truck driving by with all the logs on it. Like that's definitely a motif of this program for sure, is that sound and the image of the logging truck. Again, yeah, more just like silent shots of the forest as we listen to a chainsaw humming. How do you even chop these down with a chainsaw? Like, how do you chop what's in the middle, right? Like, their trunk has to be so thick that you either need like a 16-foot long chainsaw or like, I don't know, you just need a really long saw, I think. All right, so here it is. This is how you cut down a redwood tree. We're about to see like a real, authentic logging of a redwood tree right here, which I feel like this doesn't really happen much anymore. I would hope that redwood trees are now protected, but I have to imagine we're cutting them down somewhere still. Dang, so this is one guy. That is like impressive. I will say that. Like I hate it. I hate that he's doing it, but like it's impressive that he did it. I love how this is what he wears too. Just like a thin metal helmet and that's it. Dang, and I like how we're wearing the same thing too. The white t-shirt crew, like that is totally the aesthetic, right?
I think John Muir said it right. He said, in timber, or as timber, the redwood is just too good to live.
The redwood is just too good to live. Like, dang. That hurts to hear for sure. Yeah, but I feel like these shots of this guy's muscles is also to illustrate how tough of work it is to cut this tree down. That this guy is like absolutely jacked and has never entered the gym in his life. Again, I want more shots of this chainsaw though. I want to know like how he's actually doing this. Please at least let us see it fall. Like that's gonna break my heart, but at the same time, like you might as well. If you show us them cutting it down, you might as well show us it falling as well.
Back in the old days, a 300-foot tree, about 12 foot across, would take 2 men right around 3 days to fell, because
2 men, 3 days to fell. So that's what I was asking earlier, right? Like how much work does it take for how many people to get these trees down? And like 3 days work for 2 men, like that is crazy.
They used axes and crosscut saws.
Axes and cross-cut saws. I don't quite understand what cross-cut saws are, but hopefully we'll see.
They called them barbed wire scratchers or misery whips.
Misery whips, barbed wire scratchers. That kind of sounds like a chainsaw.
But that's no longer. Right today, a man can rip through a tree in about 1 hour.
Dang, hang on. So yeah, the invention of the chainsaw made it way easier for people to cut trees down. I feel like that's not discussed enough either. Like just how much of a revolution in tree cutting chainsaws were. Like to go from a task that takes 2 people 3 days to accomplish to a task that takes 1 person an hour to accomplish, that is like a drastic increase in productivity. Such a sad increase in productivity, but impressive again nonetheless. Oh man, it's gonna kill me to watch this. Like it really does. Like I can't believe we've destroyed so much of these forests. I can believe it. I just don't like believing it, I guess. Wow, and through the beams of light as well. Like, that was kind of a magical shot. That's like terrifying. I would be like scared for my life cutting down these trees. I feel like I just watched a landslide or something. Dang, that was the death of a redwood right before our eyes. Dang, man, dang. Like, I try to stay upbeat, but like that is just sad. That's like, again, like a 2,000 or like an 800-year-old organism just killed and will never be alive again. It's just, it is a shame.
I doubt that my dad ever dreamed that there'd be an end to these redwoods someday. It just seemed like there were too many trees for that, and it just took too long to cut one down.
What were we even using this wood for? Like, was this for a specific purpose, or was this just for like toothpicks and paper? Like, was this construction material? What was the purpose of redwood, or what was the use of redwood? I'm curious. Dang, these are the shots that are really gonna kill me. Seeing like the cleared lands afterwards, like that, like I don't mind watching one tree fall, but seeing where a forest used to stand, like that's gonna kill me, dude.
In the 1860s, they cut down 1,300 acres of redwood forest a year.
1,300 acres of redwood forest a year. Oh man, that's a lot. I wonder if they made any of that agricultural or if they just let it regrow? Because honestly, if you did it correctly, this didn't need to damage the entire ecosystem. You could have selectively logged, but I have a feeling that's not what they did. Dude, how do we even have machines capable of picking these up? That's honestly even more impressive. Like, this is picking up the trunk of a redwood tree. Like, how big is this machine even? Dang, that color of the wood on the inside, you can see like that's like that redwood or, yeah, I guess the redwood. But like that's, oh man, that's like the special like fancy wood I think people wanted.
In the 1900s, they cut down 5,000 acres of trees a year.
And like, do you think the people who worked here, do you think they felt like any form of remorse? Or do you think they thought this was like progress, you know, like they thought this was beautiful because they were conquering nature? That's probably what they were thinking. It's just, it's so hard to view this from the future's perspective of valuing nature properly. It's just, it really does break your heart, man.
In the 1960s, they cut down 13,000 acres of trees a year. 1,000 redwoods a day. 300,000 redwoods a year. 3 million trees a decade.
Dang, hang on. So it sounded like they started really heavily logging and then they kind of waned out, and then it sounds like they started logging again. I don't know. Like, based on those numbers, I might be getting my numbers mixed up, but it sounded like they went from 13,000 to 5,000 back up to 13,000. So I don't know. I don't know what happened in the middle of that, but man, I hope it's zero now. I don't even want to check.
In 15 years, the lumber companies will have hardly any more old-growth redwoods to log.
Oh my God, in 15 years they'll have no old growth left. Like, oh my God, like why couldn't we just like had any degree of foresight in this? Oh my God, this is just gonna frustrate me now. This is like not what I wanted to learn about. Like obviously this is a necessary part of the lesson of the Redwoods, but like I really just wanted to spend time prancing and gallivanting through the redwood forests in this program. I did not want to be learning about how we destroyed it. But there's definitely no shortage of footage of these trees falling. Definitely lots of shots of them hitting the ground. Oof, yeah, see, how do you even cut this though? Like, aren't they using chainsaws? Why is it so uneven? Like, I feel like this is not a naturally, or I feel like this is not a man-cut tree stump, or at least it's not with a chainsaw, I don't know. But I get what they're trying to say with this shot. You know, they're trying to show us like the carcass of a tree to show the man's impact on the environment, for sure. I get that, but it's just like, did man really cut this down with a chainsaw? I don't know. Thanks. See, like this is just these shots of environmental devastation right here, like completely torn up ground. Like there's nothing living here anymore. That's just, oh man, this is painful to watch for sure. But I guess this is going to make me appreciate the redwoods that I see when I'm actually there all the more, right? Hopefully. It's also going to make me so mad at all the houses and grass yards that I see in these redwoods. Like, I'm probably going to be furious at the people who live here. Yeah, I feel like I just watched the scene in Avatar where the big tree gets knocked down. Like, that's the same vibe as the music and the imagery. Dude, like, yeah, this shot is the shot that I really didn't want. It's just like the landscape, the denuded landscape. Like, just seeing the raw rock and dirt beneath the surface is just like, oh my God, like, so many things died, so many animals, so many, you know, all sorts of animals too, not just like small ones. Oh man, it's such a shame. This is definitely bumming me out. We got to get through this because I don't want to linger on this for too long. But at the same time, this is important for all of us to watch and see and understand just how devastated this environment was left in just a few years of settling these lands. Like, yeah, this is probably the most important part of this program, but at the same time, the part that I want to watch the least. But you know, at the very least, the director, the people making this program, they're aware of how horrific this is. You know, they know that this is an abomination against nature, and they're doing their best to record it for us. And I very much appreciate the work that went into preserving the devastation of these forests so that we can learn from them and see how egregious man's actions were in the past. You know, I feel like some people would not even believe that we used to cut down these forests because of how beautiful and how big they are. But no, we used to destroy them like any other environment, you know, like that's the lesson here. That's what we're supposed to be learning from this, is just the, you know, man's unquenched thirst for destruction, truly.
And when I was a boy, people still regarded this area more or less the frontier. But in my life, I've seen all that change.
Again, in this guy's one lifetime, he saw it go from the frontier to like California of today, which if any of you are familiar with California, you know is not this.
Well, this country has no more frontiers left. I guess there's only the moon now to conquer.
Dang, only the moon now to conquer. That's a heavy statement right there.
And from some of those pictures that I've seen of that, it looks like we've already logged out there.
That actually is such a pertinent statement. Based on the photos I've seen from the moon, it looks like we've already logged there. Like, yeah, yeah, pretty much. This landscape that we're looking at here on screen, this is like a lunar landscape almost. Like, it's as lifeless. Like, that was a very pointed remark right there. I'm very happy with that remark. That is demonstrating understanding to such a degree. Dang, dude, dang. Oh my gosh. Like, there's just infinite shots of just the denuded landscape, too. There must have been such bad erosion after this. Like, there must have been so many natural disasters, one after the other, as a result of this logging. Like, again, like, they could have done this responsibly, too. They could have logged, like, half of all these trees and still left, like, a semi-intact environment. But no, just log them all. Like, that's just get all of them out of here. And now you wonder why all the hills of California are just barren and sparsely vegetated. It's because we just killed everything that used to grow on them. Oh my gosh, man, this is just frustrating now. We did not spend enough time enjoying the shade of the Redwoods in this program to make up for the amount of devastation I've had to watch as well. Like, this is more not fun than it is fun at this point. I'm starting to understand why the creepy music has been playing this whole time. Because this really is like just a horror film for environmentalists. You know, this is an environmentalist horror. And the sound design, like the fact that we're including like the harsh metallic sounds of trucks and cars, like again, that's very purposeful juxtaposition between the sounds of nature and the sounds that these forests are experiencing now. Like that's the point, you know? Hang on, was that a transition or was that a one shot? I think that was a hidden transition in there somewhere. That was a very impressive transition, to be honest.
I've logged these woods now for some 40 years, and like my dad and the others before me, have given little thought to the future. Soon the last of the great ridges will be gone, and if this happens, it'll be at least 1,000 years before we'll have woods like this again.
Dang, that is crazy and so true. Like, the more we cut down, like, the longer it will take to regrow everything to this state. And, like, honestly, it'll never achieve this same state again anyway. Like, oh man, like, this really is bumming me out. Like that, I'm so glad that the narrator is so aware of the situation, but like their awareness is just making it more sad. Like they're actually accurately describing what makes this so terrible. Oh my gosh. Again, this is some really cool photography though. During the 90th Congress, legislators debated whether to establish a Redwood National Park. Dang, that's crazy how, like, there was a debate about that. That we had to be like, no, 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 like, this is actually important. And some other people were like, no, but, like, what about cutting them all down? Like, that way we make more money. And, like, it's so frustrating that there even was a debate. While Congress deliberated, the trees continued to be logged. Oh, that hurts too. That's a little kick me while I'm down statement. That's it. There's no like, oh, I thought there was going to be like another paragraph saying, oh, Congress actually did vote to protect these lands. But no, that's just it. We're just ending with they're debating and the trees are still being cut. That is a very painful final statement, to be honest. But all right, let's do the credits now, right? Produced by Mark Harris. Oh, so the M is also lowercase and the A is lowercase. The R is lowercase, but the K is uppercase. What a weird font. Like, I know that's completely unrelated, but this font is like not a good font if you ask me. So Mark Harris and Trevor Greenwood. That's a pretty funny last name to have. Written by Mark Harris. All right, so Mark Harris seems to be the guy behind this. Good for Mark Harris. Mark Harris must have been an environmental scientist of some degree for him to be that aware of the issue at hand. Oh, interesting. So directed by Trevor, but written by Mark. All right, so Trevor and Mark must have been like best buds who worked together. Photographed by Richard Chu. Dick Chu. Interesting name for sure. So that's his photography and his editing. So wow, okay. That's that I love to see that the photography and the editor were the same person, because usually that's not the case, but like you could definitely tell that the editor had such respect for the photography and they wanted to include as much as possible. Like the number of shots that we watched with nothing but just the shot, like that's because the guy editing it was also the guy who got all those shots, and he wanted to show off the footage that he got. That's why we got this program edited in such a way. You know, that actually explains a lot. I like that. Oh, hang on. But photographed and edited also by Trevor Greenwood? That's that's kind of confusing. So this was photographed both by Dick Chu and Trevor Greenwood, and it was edited by them both as well. I'm kind of curious how that works, but all right, interesting. This was narrated by two different people, William Turner and Keith Griggs. Wow, shout out to Griggsville. I wonder if Keith is related to Griggsville at all. This is the only time I've ever seen the last name Griggs, and we just learned about Griggsville. I doubt it, but that's interesting. So I guess there were two narrators, weren't there? I think one of them was like the old man narrator who was narrating like his father's life, and then one was like a more traditional just narrator. So that is interesting. I didn't really realize that. Sound mix by Ken Hansen. This guy had a weird job, to say the least, mixing this sound. Graphics by Frank Yamasaki. That's interesting. Frank Yamasaki. What graphics were there, though? I don't remember there being a single graphic in this entire program. Maybe like the titles? I guess literally, yeah, I guess actually the credits. Like those are the graphics that I'm looking at. So I guess Frank Yamasaki did these letters. Frank Yamasaki, I bet Frank Yamasaki was the guy who chose this font, right? Like if he did the graphics, then he's the one who chose this weird ass font. That's how it comes full circle. That's why I needed to know Frank Yamasaki. Dang, that's I bet that's the case. Music by Charles Ives, The Unanswered Question. Yeah, that's a good a good title for the sort of music I was just listening to. The Unanswered Question. That is definitely what I was listening to. But then also Pete Seeger, Goofing Off and film score for Indian Summer. See, two very different kind of musics right there. The Unanswered Question was probably this eerie music, and then Goofing Off film score was probably like the one upbeat piece of music that we heard for this program. I just love how it's goofing off though. That's funny. All right, interesting final shot. I can't believe they got the sun through the fog. Very impressive shot. Again, I wonder if this was Dick Chew or if this was Terry Greenwood. It could have been both, I guess. Oh, interesting. Distributed by Holt, Reinhardt, and Winston. I like this little owl logo. This is some cool old-timey aesthetic as well. I don't know why, but I love seeing the old graphic design of these old companies, and this sort of logo is so sick to me. Like, this is the sort of logo that speaks to me. Like, it says like wisdom and like mythology in it. I don't know, it's a cool logo. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. We got like 10 more seconds of static. Yeah. Okay, that was it. That was the Redwoods. I will say, like, this was a good watch, but I was just brought down a little bit more than I expected to be. What I really wanted out of this was like an exploration of the redwood ecosystem. Like, I want to understand what sorts of plants and animals inhabit this ecosystem besides the redwoods. Like, what's the dynamic of the ecosystem here? What are the communities? Like, what am I going to find when I walk these trails? You know, like that's really what I wanted to know. That's what I was more curious about. I wanted to see, all the different woodpeckers and all the different squirrels and whatever that lived here. Like, that's what I was kind of hoping for. We didn't really get that. We did get a lot of shots of the nature, but we didn't get an actual like analysis of the plant and animal communities, which is kind of what I wanted based on what I'm going to be doing while I'm going there. But this was definitely a very good illustration of man's relationship with nature and how we have utterly decimated aspects of nature. This is definitely valuable information for us to have seen, and even more so, valuable information for us to have preserved for the future generations to see. Like, this is so valuable that we have this and that we can show people this and show them how much we used to destroy nature. Like, this is the only way people learn not to do stuff like this. So I do very much appreciate the existence of this program and think it really was valuable for us to watch and valuable for people everywhere to watch eventually. At the same time, it is a bummer. Like, that's the same. Like, stuff that's good for you to watch is usually a bummer or just like hard for you to watch. So I get it. I get why not everyone is watching this nowadays, but people should. We really should be watching this more. So I'm glad some of you have decided to stick with me on this one and watch it all the way through, because there really are some good environmentalist lessons to be learned from this. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to California for 4 days in probably about 4 days. I won't be watching any more of these. I don't even know if there are any more programs on the Redwoods, but I wanted to watch this before I go, just so that I can appreciate the forest, and I can especially now appreciate what remains of this forest. Knowing that so much of these trees were lost to logging will only make me appreciate what I see even more. So I think that is the value of programs like this, and I hope you agree. And if you did and you enjoyed watching and you would like to help support what I do here, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is where I get all these old programs from. So if you want to support me and what I do here, donate to them. And with that, I think we're ready to cut to black.